expected more from him, but Takuma was very good.
Right.
When I put the pressure on him in the last round,
Yeah, oh man, you're so close.
I thought I had him. I believe if we were to rematch that I would beat him.
I was actually a little bit surprised that during the Night of the Samurai, the event itself, that the media was pushing BAM versus Inoue a lot, opposed to Nakatani, which kind of threw me off a little bit. But do you feel that fight is even possible, even like looking forward 2 years later, 3 years later?
Yeah, I think it's possible in the future, but I think it's surely far too early to be calling that fight now, I feel. But like BAM hasn't moved up to bantamweight yet, as far as I know. I know they're talking about that BAM might move up next fight if he doesn't get the undisputed fight, which hopefully he doesn't, because my brother will fight for the world title.
Right.
But who knows, BAM might hang around and want to fight my brother and become undisputed. I know that's what I would want to do. I mean, trying to become undisputed and wait in a couple more months. But eventually, yes, BAM will move up to bantamweight, but then you would think that he would want to take a bit of time and grow into the bantamweight division and fight some of the champions at bantamweight, not just jump straight up to the Inoue fight at super bantamweight. It still seems a while off, so it's crazy that they're talking about it so much.
I thought so too. Even like after the Picasso fight in the ring, they would talk about BAM. I don't know if they even brought up Nakatani, but they'll bring up BAM. It's a little bit too much too soon, in my opinion, but I mean, if it was possible, I would be very interested. But you brought up an interesting point that BAM is trying to be undisputed at super flyweight, but he's also going to move up to bantamweight eventually. So you must have your eye on Bam Rodriguez quite a bit, because he might come into your division, and at the moment he's in your brother's division. What do you feel about him as a fighter?
I think he's very good. He's very good. I like watching Bam. He's a good fighter. And I've known about Bam for quite a while. But the same as Inoue, like, I'd known about Inoue a long time before I fought him, and I loved watching him, and I'd always sit down and watch his fights and try and learn from him. But I wanted to fight him because I wanted to test myself against the best, and that's who I am. But I've been watching Bam for a long time, and I've always thought that maybe my brother would fight him, and he still might, as I said. If my brother's next fight will be for the IBF title, so he wins that, which I'm sure he will, then I think Bam would want to fight him to try and become undisputed. So I've always kept an eye on him, and I've always watched him, and I've always enjoyed watching him as a fan, not only just to watch him because he could be a potential opponent. I think Bam's a really good fighter. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Potentially my brother may fight him, and if he doesn't and he moves up to bantamweight, then yeah, he's in my division, and I would certainly love to fight Bam. So I think he's very good, but as I said, I always want to fight the best, and yeah, I think I'd do well against Bam, and it's a fight that interests me for sure. And yeah, if he's coming into my division, then I'll have a close eye on him. But I think he's a very good fighter. I don't know how he would go against Nakatani or Inoue, so I think that's a bit early, but we'll see. He's got to take care of people in the bantamweight division before he can worry too much about those guys. And I think there's some great fights in the bantamweight division at the moment. There's some great fighters in our division, and if he's coming into the bantamweight division, there's some exciting fights to be made.
この番組は楽天、Amazon レビュー評価 No.1 MyMoods ベープの提供でお送りします。MyMoods は気分を変えるアイテムをコンセプトに、ポッドを差し替えるだけで自分の気持ちに合わせた楽しみ方ができるポッド系ベープです。ポッドを挿せばボタンなどの操作なしで吸うことができます。デバイスはスタイリッシュで溶き込みやすいデザイン。しかもType-C 充電で繰り返し使える。正直ベープはケミカルな味して苦手だったんですけど、これは食品グレードの原料を使っているらしくて、味も濃厚で、しかも大容量。個人的には減量中とかに間食の代わりに吸ったりすることもいいと思います。水蒸気だから匂いもつかないし、歯とか壁の着色もないので、家とかでペーパービュー見ながら吸えちゃいます。いやー、すごかったな。クーポンコードは FT30。どのフレーバーがいいのか悩んでる方のために、僕のおすすめ3フレーバーセットも作ってもらいました。そして MyMoods のサブスクもあります。4つのプランの中、僕のおすすめはスタンダードプランです。ポッド3箱が初回デバイス付きでクーポン適用すると、実質半額の7000円弱で楽しめます。しかもプランによってデバイスの永久保証があったり、新作フレーバーの先行リリースなどお得な特典もたくさんあるらしいので、ぜひ加入しましょう。
Yes, recently there's been a couple of legends from super flyweight moving up to bantamweight, like Estrada and Ioka just recently won by KO. Have you seen that fight by any chance, Ioka most
I
recently?
only saw the highlights.
Uh-huh.
They weren't showing it in Australia. I've seen
okay.
some of the highlights, but I'll go back and watch the full fight. I know it only went 4 rounds, I believe,
Yes.
but I've seen a fair bit of the fight. And yeah, he's another one, you know, like similar to Bam, that I always thought my brother would probably fight Arica. And my brother really wanted to fight Arica for the last few years, particularly when he was the champion. But that never happened. So he's someone that I've always watched. And yeah, again, now he's in my division. So I'd love the chance to fight Arica. He's another one, the same, you know, I think he's a very good fighter and I enjoy watching him. But I like the thought of me fighting him. I believe I could beat him.
That would be an interesting fight, yes.
I'd love the opportunity to fight him. So hopefully, I know they're talking that he might fight Takuma
Yes.
or he may fight possibly even Seiya, Satsumi. But we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'd like the opportunity to fight him.
I think Japanese boxing fans will be interested in that. Jason Maloney versus Ioka. It's an interesting matchup there.
I hope so. Yeah. I really loved fighting in Japan and yeah, I really hope that I'll get the chance to fight over in Japan again. I got a lot of support when I was over there and I love the country, I love the people, and I'd love to get the chance to fight back in Japan again. So hopefully this year.
Yes, hopefully. A former opponent of yours, Tenshin Nasukawa, he challenged for the title against Takuma Inoue. I wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought of the fight itself and also what you were thinking before the fight.
Before the fight, I thought it was going to be a very close fight, but I actually thought Tenshin would win the fight. And when the fight started, after 2 rounds, I thought, well, Tenshin's going to win. Tenshin's going to win this fight. I thought he looked in control. I thought he was giving Takuma a lot of trouble. And then I guess credit to Takuma that he seemed to be able to work him out real quick and changed the fight and took control. And he fought a great fight, Takuma. He really fought a great fight. I was really surprised by how well he fought and his speed and the way he was able to sort of negate Tenshin, he's a pretty tricky guy to work out. But Tenshin sort of lost his way in the fight, I think. Of course, he doesn't have that much experience as a professional boxer, I know, but he's a real talented boxer. And I thought after the first 2 rounds, he's going to win this fight. And then obviously Takuma made the adjustments, but Tenshin wasn't able to sort of take control again, which I thought he may have. And yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised by that fight. I thought Tenshin would do better, and I didn't think Takuma would fight so well. So I was very surprised by that fight.
What do you think Tenshin lacked? Because a lot of the opinions of the experts over here in Japan was that he kind of lacked experience as a boxer and lacked the tools, opposed to Takuma, who started off doing boxing and been doing it a lot longer than Tenshin. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, he does lack the experience. And yeah, it was hard to know exactly what he was doing wrong, but he would go very defensive and he was happy to make him miss or happy to sort of move around the ring, but then wasn't landing any punches. And you got to throw punches and land punches to win a fight. And it's all nice to make someone miss and to move and to be athletic and to be good on your feet, but that's not going to win you the fight. So, you know, I felt that he was sometimes defensively doing well, but he just wasn't throwing enough punches and wasn't being aggressive enough. And of course, you got to give credit to Takuma, because whenever he was being aggressive, Takuma was doing a good job of punching with him or countering him, and he was catching in him. So he was making Tenshin maybe not want to exchange as much. But I expected him to be a little bit more aggressive, especially when the fight was starting to slip out of his hands and Takuma was noticeably starting to take control. I expected him to maybe be able to press the action and be a bit more aggressive and let his hands go. And when he did, I thought he was effective, but then he would be quite defensive again and sort of cover up and move and not throw punches. So, yeah, I expected more from him, but Takuma was very good.
Right. Possibly just a mistake in the game plan Tenshin's team made, maybe.
Yeah, and just didn't maybe make the adjustment that he needed to once he lost, you know, because he started so well, as I said. And then once Takuma made the adjustments and got on top, he needed to then change the game plan or go to plan B, but he didn't.
You faced Tenshin in the past, but what makes it hard to deal with him? Is it his speed or is his movements and rhythm just awkward?
Yeah, a bit of a mix. I mean, I found that when he would stand with me and punch with me, I felt like I was winning the fight, and I felt like I hurt him a few times, and there's a few times during the fight where I was like, yeah, I've got him here. but he's very good on his feet, and he was very good at moving and making me fall short and moving around the ring. And I sort of probably fell into the trap of just following him and chasing him a little bit, which I wish I could go back and try again.
Right.
But he's just hard because his movement was so good, and he's got great hand speed, of course. Good hand speed, good movement. He's an athletic guy who is a good boxer. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a good fighter. But yeah, I felt that I could have done better, and I think that was a fight I should have and could have won.
Right. What do you think went wrong for you in that fight, if I may ask?
Well, I guess when he started moving, I was sort of chasing him. I was sort of falling into his game plan a little bit and walking into his punches a little bit. I probably needed to just apply the pressure a bit more smartly, like get the pressure on, but be a bit more intelligent in the way I was putting the pressure on and get off first a little bit more. Sometimes I'd get into position and he'd quickly punch and move off, and I was letting him go first and punch and move too much. I could have maybe feinted and drawn an attack out of him and got off first a bit more. And, there's lots of things I watch the fight. I think, I should have tried this. I could have done this. I could have done that. And, I'd have success at times, but then I just would let him sort of move and lose that momentum. So it was a hard fight. He's a tricky guy to deal with, but I know I could have and should have done better.
Right. Obviously, you'd be interested in a rematch with him if the opportunity presented itself.
Yes, definitely. As I said, I think I should have and could have won the fight. And I'm a competitive guy. Anyone that beats me, I want revenge. I'd love to fight Takai again. I'd love to fight Emmanuel Rodriguez again. Yeah, I want revenge, of course. I could say I'd love to fight Naoya on the way as well, but maybe you got to be careful what you wish for. But I'm a competitive guy. I always want revenge.
There was actually this narrative of you being not as good or not familiar with southpaws after the Takei and Tenshin fight, but do you feel like you have a harder time with southpaws? Is that true?
I did, yeah. When I fought Takai, I'd only fought one southpaw in 10 years. As a professional. And unfortunately in Australia, boxing is not a big sport, particularly around my area, but particularly in Australia. There's not that many southpaws that are like bantamweights or featherweights. There's not that many guys for me to work with. So unfortunately throughout my career, I haven't had that much experience with southpaws. And it wasn't by choice. I think in hindsight, I should have fought more southpaws on the way up.
Right.
But I'd always just fight every opponent that was put in front of me, and I didn't really have too much say in who I was going to fight. So if I could go back, I would have fought more southpaws and got more experience with southpaws, because when I'd only fought one southpaw in 10 years and then I come up against a good fighter like Takai and a good fighter like Tenshin, it's hard to deal with that, because it's fighting a southpaw and fighting an orthodox fighter is very different. And people that maybe don't box or don't follow boxing so much wouldn't understand, but it's very different. And since the Takai fight, I've worked hard on that. Obviously, I had back-to-back fights and back-to-back training camps with southpaws, and I've got a few southpaws around me. There's a good southpaw in my gym now, and I always spar him now because I want to be better at fighting southpaws. And now I feel much more comfortable with southpaws. Which is great now, but it wasn't good obviously going into the fight with Takai. And I wish I had more experience with southpaws. And I'm not making an excuse. It is what it is. But yeah, going into the fight with Takai, I was confident, of course, and I believed I could beat him. But I needed more time working with southpaws. And I lost my world title, so it was a hard lesson to learn. But yeah, I can't rewind time and go back and fight 5 southpaws throughout my career and get the experience. But from now on, I know that I got to constantly work with southpaws and spar southpaws and continue to fight southpaws, because I'm going to come up against a lot more southpaws. There's plenty of good southpaws in my division, so I'm going to keep working with them and keep improving. And already I know I'm much better at fighting southpaws than I was when I fought Takai. But yeah, you're right. I learned the lesson. I went too long without fighting.
Well, if the offer came now, you'll be ready.
That's right. And yeah, I can't wind back time, but I'm always looking to improve, and I feel like I've improved a lot. I think I probably showed that in the tension fight that I had become a bit better against the Southpaw, but unfortunately I still didn't get the win. But next Southpaw, they're in trouble.
That's right. Did anything surprise you about Takei? He's known for his one-punch power, but what did you feel about that?
When I fought him, did anything surprise me? No, he can punch. He can punch. And his punches come wide, and he throws a lot of hooks, and he was catching me sort of behind the gloves and sort of around the ears and the back of the head a bit, and those shots do damage, So he had power, and he was awkward and hard to deal with, and as I said, I wasn't comfortable in front of a Southpaw, and there's lots of things that went wrong in that fight. Like I'm not one to make excuses, and they're not excuses, but I just fought the wrong fight against him. And when I put the pressure on him in the last round,
oh man, you're so close.
I thought I had him, and I'll always regret that and be like, man, why didn't I put the pressure on him from the start? I know I can beat him, but I fought the wrong fight. And that's boxing. You can be the better fighter, but if you don't perform on the night or fight the right fight, you'll lose. And yeah, I got no excuses, but I believe if we were to rematch that, I would beat him.
That's an interesting fight as well, because he's coming off of a loss to Medina, which was quite an upset here in Japan. That's another fight that I think the Japanese fans can get behind. But I wanted to ask you, in that moment in the 12th, you were so close to having him, but in that moment, did you feel like, yeah, I got him here?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I was sort of like one more clean punch, and I think he's down, and I knew I needed a knockout. So I was trying my hardest. But unfortunately, I ran out of time, and I just couldn't get that one clean shot. But yeah, he was hurt. Yeah, I could tell, and he was tired as well. So that was my opportunity, but I just couldn't grab it. It was frustrating, but it's life.
I'm not sure if you can announce it. I'm actually pretty sure you can't. But do you have a next fight scheduled?
Very close. Yeah, I'm going to fight in March. We're just working on locking that in now. I think they're negotiating with an opponent, and I should have something locked in pretty soon. But yeah, I'm excited. I've signed with a new promoter here in Australia, Tasman Fighters, and I got to just get active because I was too inactive, and I believe I've got what it takes to become champion again. But I need to stay active, and I need to keep fighting, and I need to keep winning, and I need to get myself back up the rankings to get myself in a position to fight one of the champions. And yeah, I just fought obviously December the 6th and had a good win. And then if I get another good win in March, I should be back up in a good position in the ratings and ready for another big fight overseas or another big fight against one of the champions. So I'm determined to make this year a good year, and I believe I can become champion again. I just got to keep working hard and get that opportunity.
Is there a particular opponent that you would like to face in the bantamweight division, or is it just any belt's okay?
Yeah, pretty much any belt's okay. I just want to be a champion again, and all the fights against all the champions interest me. Definitely. Right. I've always loved the fight against Takuma Inoue. I'd love to fight him, but I think he's busy. I think he's already got his next 1 or 2 fights planned out, but we'll see. Hopefully that fight will happen one day. Again, I think he's a great fighter, and he was great against Tenshin, but I want to fight the best. And I believe in myself. I think if I perform at my best, that I can beat all the champions, but I just got to keep working hard and get that opportunity.
堤聖也, who's also got a belt at the WBA. That would be a fight you're interested in too, I'm sure.
It is, yeah, because look, we're good friends, me and Seiya Satsumi.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. That's right.
We're good friends. We're good friends. I really like Seiya. We're very close. He came to Australia to help me, and I went to Japan to help him prepare for the Takuma Inoue fight. And we've spent a lot of time together. And I really like Seiya, but we're both boxers. We're both bantamweights, and we both have the same goals, obviously. So if that fight was to present itself, then yes, of course, I would be happy to take that fight. We're friends, but we're friends because of boxing, and I think we could have a great fight and still be friends afterwards. So it's the sport. There's no hard feelings there. I really like Seiya, but yeah, of course, he has a belt, so I would like to fight it.
I think Seiya is used to it by now. He fought Higa, who they're kind of buddies now.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
He had quite a tough fight against Donaire just recently. Have you seen that fight?
Unfortunately, I haven't watched the full fight. I've only seen the highlights. I plan to sit down and watch that fight. I was really glad that he won that fight. I'm glad that he's still champion. But yeah, I saw it was obviously there was a scary moment there for him where he obviously broke his nose real bad and nearly got knocked out. But he's a warrior. He's a warrior. He's always entertaining fights. And I'm really glad he won. Really happy for him. As I said, I haven't watched the full fight yet. I will sit down and watch it, but it wasn't shown live in Australia. So I was sitting there waiting for updates. And when I saw that he won, I was really happy for him. But I haven't seen the full fight yet, so I can't comment too much. I was surprised that Donaire maybe had the success that he perhaps had, but I haven't sat down to watch and score the fight, so I don't know.
I think we were all surprised by Donaire's performance. We kind of overlooked him a little bit, I guess. Also, considering his age, I think he's 42, which is quite crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Do you think you'll be boxing at the age 42?
Me? No, I don't think so. But, it's hard. I look at that and think it's so old, but man, the years go by so quick and I'm getting old as well. It's my birthday next week. And
oh, really?
I'm 35 next week, and I just think, how am I 35? I feel 25, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'll be boxing as long as I'm still able to box at my best. I'll keep doing it because I love it. But yeah, I know the time's running out, so that's why I take this sport so serious, and I got to make sure I have a good year this year because there ain't many left.
Yes, you have a lot of Japanese boxing fans as well, and we wish you the best. And yeah, we're looking forward to your next fight. I hope we can see you fight here in Japan again, especially against a Japanese champion. That would be great.
I would love that. I really would. As I said, I'm really grateful for the support I get in Japan, and I love the country, and I loved all my time spent over there and loved fighting over there. So I hope that I'll get another good fight over in Japan this year. So hopefully I'll see you soon.
I want to be respectful of your time. I could talk to you forever, but
let's talk again soon because I enjoyed the chat. So thank you very much.
No,
for your
thank
time.
you so much. Thank you so much. And it's a little bit early, but happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
What SNS do you use? Instagram and anything else I can shout out?
Mainly Instagram. I have Twitter or X, but I mainly use Instagram. So if anyone wants to follow my journey and reach out, feel free. I often get messages from people in Japan, and as I said, I appreciate the support.
Jason Maloney's Instagram and SNS will be in the description below. Check it out. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. Good to talk to you.